On my way to bring my girlfriend a little umbrella, I got into a car accident and lost my memory. I'm lying on a hospital bed. I open my phone and dial my childhood bestie, Shen Youchu's number. Wife, I'm in the hospital. I had a car accident. Can you come pick me up? Shen Youchu's body goes completely stiff. Her expression turns blank. Her phone slips from her fingers with a clatter. It smashes hard onto the floor. The assistant, standing beside her, jumps in shock. He rushes over quickly. He scoops up Shen Youchu's phone and puts it back on the desk. He lowers his voice and calls out, "Shen Yu." Shen Youchu snaps back to reality. She grabs the phone. Her voice trembles, but stays icy cold. "By motion. What the hell do you want?" I heartlessly rejected him twice. I told him not to bother me anymore. I said I already had someone I liked. I even questioned how a proud heir like him could enjoy being such a simp. And now here I am, turning around and simping for someone myself. Shen Youchu is so proud and headstrong. The only time she's ever lowered her head in front of me is when I fed her that one time. She just can't let go. It took her so much effort to convince herself not to disturb my life anymore. And now this heartless guy suddenly comes running back to her. He even deliberately calls her wife. Is this some new kind of dog training trick, or am I just doing it on purpose to use him to provoke that Liu Ruyan? The boy on the other end sounds soft and pitiful. "So, wife, are you coming to pick me up or not? My head hurts so bad." Shen Youchu closes her eyes for a second. She says coldly, "Wait there." Then she hangs up. Right now I'm sitting on the hospital bed, head still wrapped in bandages. Hearing that woman's cold voice on the phone leaves me a little lost. I pinch my legs. I feel so wrong. I mutter to myself, why is my wife being so cold? Did we not make up after that fight yet? My head is injured. Because of the amnesia, I've forgotten everything. My name, my family, all my past. Right now, the only thing in my hand is this phone. That's it. I open my phone again and search through the contacts. There are barely any numbers saved. So I go back to WeChat. There aren't many messages there either. No pinned chats. No one I'm super close with. The most recent person who messaged me has the note, "Youchu G's." Just from the note you can tell we're really close. I tap into the chat. Among the few messages there, it shows, "Finally willing to add me back. Stop throwing tantrums. Muchen, unless you call me wife. We're never making up." I sigh. So I'm married, and I fought with my wife. We're still in a Cold War. The chat timestamps are from last week. I can't help feeling worried. We haven't talked in a whole week. I don't know if Youchu is really mad at me. What if she won't talk to me anymore? Now that I lost my memory, I feel so insecure. I don't even remember my payment password. I can't pay the hospital bill. The only close contact I have is Youchu. Gee, I don't even have my parents' numbers. I start wondering if I'm actually an orphan. The more I think about it, the more miserable I feel. I sit on the bed all alone, wiping away tears. Meanwhile, Shen Youchu has already hurried to the hospital with her assistant. Inside the ward, she can't stay cold anymore. When she sees me sitting there all alone on the bed, she doesn't feel surprised at all. I'm such a love brain. I was simping hard for the driver's daughter, Liu Ruyan. Because of that, my parents were furious when I refused to study abroad and insisted on going to the same university as Liu Ruyan. I had a huge fight with them. Then I blocked all my parents' contacts and ran away from home. My parents were so angry too. They packed their suitcases and went abroad on vacation. Before they left, they asked Shen Youchu to look after me. No matter how mad they were, they still couldn't stop worrying about their son. Shen Youchu walks into the ward. She looks down at me with red, teary eyes and my pitiful little face. Her heart aches so much, but her expression stays icy. Why isn't he here? My eyes are red and swollen. Hearing that same cold voice from the phone, I lift my head with teary eyes and see Shen Youchu's face. Shen Youchu is really tall, almost 1.7 meters. She's wearing a black suit skirt set, silver-rimmed glasses, hands in her pockets, and her beautiful face looks so cool and distant. In elite circles, she's known as the famous heiress princess, along with the 3 other top families. They're called the 4 princesses of Beijing. Their combined businesses are enormous and span the globe. In business and political circles worldwide, they hold massive influence. And Shen Youchu ended up falling for me. She stares at my pouty face. What's wrong? Did you hit your head and go stupid? Her brows furrow slightly. She leans in to check the bandage on my head. Worried my brain really got damaged. Shen Youchu frowns. The doctor said you weren't that smart to begin with it. Don't go and get even dumber. I tilt my head back and stare at her face for a long time. She looks strangely familiar. And the moment I see her, all the panic and unease in my heart suddenly calms down. It's like the woman in front of me is someone I can really trust. I remember we fought a week ago and haven't made up yet. She doesn't even seem to care that I'm hurt. She's not worried at all. Does that mean she doesn't like me anymore? Is she going to divorce me? No way. If we divorce while I'm like this, what am I supposed to do? Just thinking about it makes my scalp tingle. I climb off the bed and, barefoot, throw myself into Shen Youchu's arms. I hug her tight around her slim waist. Wow, wife, don't be mad at me. I was wrong. Please don't ignore me. I can't live without you, wife. Shen Youchu is speechless. She keeps her hands in her pockets, but her ears and neck flush bright red in an instant. Her face shows pure shock. She stands there frozen, feeling the warmth in her arms, and hearing me call her wife over and over. She even wonders if she's dreaming. After a few seconds, she snaps out of it and realizes she's letting me lead her around again. She laughs coldly. Now you know to hug me. Now you call me wife. Before, no matter how much I asked, you wouldn't. She grabs my hand, ready to push me away. But she's afraid of hurting me, so she doesn't use any strength. I cling to her shamelessly and won't let go. I look up at her with teary eyes and say pitifully, "So, wife, can I call you that now? Wife, please don't be mad at me anymore, okay? I know I was wrong. Shen Youchu has liked me for 10 whole years. We used to be so close. Until I rejected her confession, and our relationship slowly grew distant. She's never seen me act this spoiled before. I'm hugging her and calling her wife in the softest voice. Her heart melts into a puddle. Her whole body reacts so strongly. She wants to take this reckless boy home and teach him a good lesson. Just then the assistant who finished the paperwork walks over, seeing the two of us hugging. He doesn't dare look at Shen Youchu's flushed face. Head lowered, he says quietly, "President Shen, the paperwork is done. Shall we leave now?" Shen Youchu grits her teeth. She bends down, scoops me up in a princess carry with her strong arms, and strides out of the ward. I completely rely on Shen Youchu right now. I can tell her attitude toward me isn't great. So, I'm really scared she'll abandon me. That's why I'm being extra sweet. Wife, you're so strong. I love it so much. I wrap both arms around Shen Youchu's neck and snuggle obediently against her chest, listening to her heart racing like a little deer. I blush a little and say, "What would I do without you? Wife, wife, you're so good to me." Shen Youchu's forehead veins are popping as she holds back. Through gritted teeth and a hoarse voice, she says, "Shut up. Stop calling me that." I notice her ears and neck are all red, and know she's not mad anymore. So I stop while I'm ahead, and obediently stay quiet. After getting into Shen Youchu's Rolls Royce, I lean back in the seat and doze off. I'm so tired and my head hurts. I just want to close my eyes and rest. Shen Youchu, sitting next to me, watches me quietly for a long while. Her eyes are complicated, her expression hard to read. She knows I'm acting this way because I want to use her to provoke Liu Ruyan. After all, every time Liu Ruyan sees her coming to find me, she gets all pale and throws a tantrum. Then, once Shen Youchu leaves, he gets easily coaxed back by me. As long as I buy him a gift, he forgives me right away. Truth is, Liu Ruyan doesn't like me at all. He only likes my money. He hates Shen Youchu because he's scared that if I'm with her, he'll lose his cash flow. After all, I'm super generous. The cheapest gifts I give him are tens of thousands. Every transfer starts at 100,000. Shen Youchu sees everything clearly, but she can't tell me. If she did, I'd just get angry. Just then, thunk, my head lightly bumps the window. Shen Youchu quickly reaches out and pulls me into her arms. She checks my head with a pained look. face full of worry. But her tone is sharp. Be careful. You don't have much brain to begin with. What if you damage it? I rub my head and glare at Shen Youchu angrily. I grumble unhappily. You only know how to scold me, I mutter, and you call yourself my wife. What kind of wife treats her husband like this? Shen Youchu is speechless. She closes her eyes in frustration. She thinks, how did I end up as wife out of nowhere? How am I supposed to know how a wife should treat her husband? She loosens her arms around me. You're overdoing the act. I've stopped being mad ages ago. Why are you still calling me wife nonstop? Aren't you embarrassed? I feel a little guilty, overdoing it, but I don't remember how we used to get along before the amnesia. Shen Youchu still has a meeting to finish, so she takes me straight back to her company. She lets me rest in the lounge inside her office, then heads to the meeting with her assistant. Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan, who's caught cold, still hasn't received the cold medicine I was supposed to buy, and I didn't bring him lunch either. He's gotten used to me spoiling him, but today not only did the food not come, nothing came at all. Class is about to start, so he walks into the classroom with a cold face, annoyed, and plops down in a random corner. He pulls out his phone for the 10th time and calls me. Beep, beep, beep. The number you dialed is switched off. Liu Ruyan slams his phone hard on the desk. He even cracks the screen protector. This is the brand new model I bought him last month. Bai Muchen is really something, he mutters. With a stuffy nose and vicious tone, he says, throwing a tantrum at me, huh? Just wait till I get back and see how I deal with you. Just then, Yito Cheng walks in from outside. He sits right next to Liu Ruyan. He's wearing a cheap t-shirt, but has an expensive diamond necklace around his neck. His family is poor. They could never afford something like that. That diamond necklace was the birthday gift Liu Ruyan gave him last year. Liu Ruyan is rich, good-looking, and likes him. He's thrilled, and secretly decides to hold on to Liu Ruyan tight. Who knows, after graduation he might marry into a rich family. Yito Cheng places a bottle of hot coffee on Liu Ruyan's desk. With a sweet, gentle smile, Ruyan Jian, you don't look so good. Is your cold really bad? The moment Liu Ruyan sees it's Yito Cheng, his face lights up again. He takes the cheap canned coffee, pulls the tab, and drinks a big gulp. I'm fine, he says softly. Just a little dizzy. Cheng, thank you for caring about me. You're the only one who truly cares. Unlike Bai Muchen, who thinks he can humiliate me just because his family has money, I want him to know that no matter how much money he throws at me, or how expensive the gifts are, in my eyes, they're not even worth the $5 cheap coffee Cheng brought me. Yito Cheng sees Liu Ruyan zoning out and doesn't know what he's thinking. So he asks, Ruyan geez, I haven't seen Bai Muchen today. Did he not come find you? Yito Cheng has never taken me seriously. He doesn't know my family background, and assumes I'm just like him, simping for Liu Ruyan because of his money. Yito Cheng looks a bit surprised. He sticks to you every single day. It's weird that he didn't show up today. Liu Ruyan keeps a cold face. Don't worry about him. Give him any attention, and he thinks he's all that. His birthday is the day after tomorrow. I'm not throwing him any party. Yito Cheng sees the disgust on Liu Ruyan's face. After class, the two of them go shopping together. Liu Ruyan is used to walking Yito Cheng back to the dorm. When they reach the dorm building, Yito Cheng suddenly hugs Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan is startled. Before he can react, Yito Cheng lets go. Head down and blushing, he says, Ruyan Jean, I'm going in first. Then he turns and runs toward the dorm, face red. But Liu Ruyan grabs him. He pulls Yito Cheng into a tight hug. Breathing heavily, you hug me, and then try to run. I like Yito Cheng. He thinks Yito Cheng is gentle, obedient, and wears his heart on his sleeve. Easy to control with just a little money. Not like me, who always throws money around to humiliate him. Thinking of me makes his eyes darken. Looking at Yito Cheng, with his big wavy hair just like mine, and wearing a camisole dress. He suddenly pinches Yito Cheng's cheek and kisses him hard on the lips. In the dark, a woman snaps a photo and sends it to Shen Youchu. President Shen, target acquired, but he seems busy. Shen Youchu has just finished her meeting. She hurries back to the office, wanting to check on me in the lounge. When her phone rings, she checks it, and her face turns ice cold. I got into a car accident, and I'm hospitalized. But Liu Ruyan didn't even visit me. Shen Youchu is furious inside. She has watched how much I've given Liu Ruyan all these years. Even though she hates Liu Ruyan, she doesn't want me to be at my most helpless. And my so-called favorite person isn't there. My teary, pitiful face is still burned into her mind, making her heart ache. She wishes she could keep the treasure she holds so dear, safe in her palm, but instead he's being trampled by someone else. So Shen Youchu sent someone to the school to find Liu Ruyan. She planned to threaten and bribe him, so he'd come comfort the injured me. But now, no wonder I cried and called her wife for help. I must have been heartbroken. Shen Youchu is so angry her veins are bulging on the back of her hand. She grabs her phone and calls the person on the other end. Her voice is freezing cold. Confirmed it's Liu Ruyan. Definitely him. After a second, the other person hesitates. President Shen, do you still want to see him? Shen Youchu laughs coldly, eyes full of fury. He doesn't deserve it. You've already gone. Beat him up before you leave. She was planning to threaten and bribe him a little bit. Make Liu Ruyan come comfort the injured me. But now, no wonder I was crying and calling her wife for help. Turns out I was completely heartbroken. Shen Youchu was so angry the veins on the back of her hand popped up. She grabbed her phone and called the person on the other end. Her voice was ice cold. Confirmed it's Liu Ruyan. No mistake. It's definitely him. After a second, the other person asked hesitantly, President Shen, do you still want to see him? Shen Youchu laughed coldly, her eyes filled with fury. He doesn't deserve it. You've already gone. Beat him up before you leave. The woman on the other end answered right away. Got it, President Shen. I'll handle it perfectly. A few minutes later, Liu Ruyan, who was making out passionately with Yito Cheng, was suddenly tripped by a strong woman out of nowhere. He reacted fast and tried to stand up immediately. But the strong woman didn't steady herself either. She clumsily fell hard right on top of him, and even stepped on him a few times in the chaos. Then she ran off without a single apology. It looked like a total accident, but Liu Ruyan turned pale from the pain. He cursed loudly. Yito Cheng thought it was nothing at first, and asked, Ruyan-ji, can you get up? But when Yito Cheng noticed something was wrong, he squatted down to check, and his face went white with shock. Liu Ruyan had his eyes squeezed shut, covered in cold sweat. Only then did they realize the woman had done it on purpose. Shen Youchu stared at the photo of Liu Ruyan writhing in pain on the ground, and calmly deleted the entire chat and all the pictures. She muttered under her breath, I used to think I should respect Mushin and just want him to be happy. Now, her gaze turned dark and cold. I'm never letting go again. Just then the assistant walked in from outside, carrying takeout from a fancy private restaurant. He set it on the table and said to Shen Youchu, President Shen, the brain-nourishing, nutritious meal for young Master Bai is here. Shen Youchu glanced at the 10 boxes and nodded. Leave it. Go wake him up. The assistant wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. He had almost blurted out brain-nourishing meal. President Shen could say stuff like that, but he definitely couldn't. Good thing she wasn't mad, or he'd be in serious trouble. I'd been running around all day, got caught in the rain buying cold medicine, and crashed my head in an accident. I was completely wiped out. The second I lay down on the big bed in Shen Youchu's lounge, breathing in her strangely familiar scent, I fell straight to sleep. So, when Shen Youchu walked in, she saw me lying on her bed, hugging her suit jacket tight, my little face all flushed and adorable in my sleep. Her heart melted in an instant. She walked over to the bed and looked at me, whispering softly, not too dumb after all. Even when you're hurt, you know to come running back to me. Shen Youchu pushed back all her remaining work. She stayed right there in the lounge with me. I was so exhausted, with a head injury, and a cold on top of it. I had to be dead tired. Seeing I still hadn't woken up, she sat by the bed and gently watched my fair, obedient sleeping face. Asleep. You're actually super well behaved. Shen Youchu reached out a little grumpily and lightly pinched my nose. She didn't dare use any force, in case she woke me. She whispered, when you're awake, you're so prickly. and won't even talk to me nicely. Only when you're sleeping do you look this cute. I don't know what kind of love potion Liu Ruyan fed Bai Mukin to make him so head over heels obsessed. As the sky outside grew darker and darker, Shen Youchu turned on the warm yellow floor lamp, then leaned back against the headboard, and started working on her laptop. It was a little after 7 in the evening when I finally woke up. I opened my eyes and blinked in a daze. I looked at the ceiling, then at the floor, and after scanning the whole room, it finally hit me. I'd lost my memory, and my wife had brought me home. Shen Youchu, sitting right beside me, saw I was awake, and quickly set her laptop aside. Her voice was so gentle she didn't even realize it. Hungry, I turned to look at Shen Youchu beside me. The woman was wearing a gray vest over a white shirt, her suit jacket draped on the sofa nearby. She had on silver-rimmed glasses. Her beautiful features and tall, toned figure making the soft bed sink deeply beside me. My body couldn't help leaning toward her. I rubbed my eyes and sat up. With a soft, sleepy little voice, I murmured, "Wife, is this our home?" Shen Youchu's movements froze. Those words hit her right in the heart. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Our home. She had the wedding villa ready ages ago. But I kept rejecting her and never liked her. So she barely ever went there. To avoid the heartache, every inch of that villa was decorated exactly the way I loved. She stared at me with complicated eyes. "What? You want to go back to our home?" She put extra weight on the word our. She studied me carefully, feeling like something about me was off. I hadn't rushed off to find Liu Ruyan first. Shen Youchu muttered, "Did that bump to the head actually knock some sense into him?" I felt super guilty. I was really scared that if Shen Youchu found out about my amnesia, she'd just ditch me. After all, from the way we'd been acting, our marriage didn't seem that great. I climbed out of bed and quickly changed the subject. "I'm starving. Let's go eat." I hadn't eaten anything since the accident at noon, and it was already past 7 at night. I was so hungry my stomach was touching my back. Shen Youchu got up from the bed right away and led me out of the lounge. She checked if the food had cooled down. The meal her assistant bought was packed in insulated boxes, but an hour had already passed, so she wasn't sure if it was still warm. If it had gone cold, ordering more would take time. But I was already starving. Shen Youchu opened the boxes and took out the 6 dishes and 1 soup. Her expression was gentle, but her voice stayed a little cool as she said, "It's still hot. Come eat quick." I was super hungry and didn't care about her tone at all. I sat down and started scarfing everything down. Shen Youchu kept serving me soup and adding food to my platter. Seeing how fast I was eating, she frowned. "Don't eat so fast. Careful or you'll choke." I ignored her and downed 2 big gulps of soup. Shen Youchu, sitting beside me, felt a little complicated inside. She asked, "Did you reincarnate as a starving ghost or what? When was the last time you actually ate a proper meal?" Bai Muchen isn't short on money. Even after running away from home, his parents never cut off his allowance. Could it be that Bai Muchen gave his bank card to Liu Ruyan, and that's why he's broke now? Shen Youchu stared at me. "Bai Muchen, I have a question for you." I had a piece of lobster hanging from my mouth and looked at her blankly. I turned my head seriously, waiting for her to ask. Shen Youchu was totally charmed. I was being so obedient and cute, listening to every word so attentively. The usual Bai Muchen was never this sweet. Shen Youchu reached out and gently ruffled my hair. Her voice softened even more. "Have you been eating properly lately? Is your allowance still enough?" I blinked, a little stunned. After hesitating for a second, I said, yeah, it's enough, I think." I had no idea how much allowance I even had, or if my wife was the one giving it to me. I didn't remember the password either, so I couldn't check my bank card. Thinking about it made me feel guilty. I avoided Shen Youchu's eyes and took another bite of the lobster. But Shen Youchu's gaze gradually darkened, just as I thought. This idiot Bai Muchen really handed over all his money to Liu Ruyan and doesn't even dare tell me. Shen Youchu sneered. "Everyone else just spends your money and drains you dry little by little. But I'm different." As she spoke, she pulled out her black card and placed it right in front of me. "Password is your birthday. Spend it however you want." Looking at the black card, I felt so touched. I quickly took it. "Thank you, Wife, wife, you're so good to me. Seeing me accept the card, Shen Youchu felt happy too. She reached out and ruffled my hair again. Good boy, she said warmly, even though she knew I was only using her to make Liu Ruyan jealous. Seeing me being this obedient and cute still made her heart melt into a puddle. No matter what, she just couldn't refuse me, even if I was using her. At least it proved she still mattered to me. That was enough. After we finished eating, I lazily sprawled on the sofa to digest, playing on my phone at the same time, browsing the internet, and checking out all kinds of news. I was curious about everything. But soon my phone died and shut off. I immediately went to find Shen Youchu, who was busy with documents. Wife, my phone's dead. Do you have a charger here? Shen Youchu, still wearing her glasses, kept her eyes on the computer screen. She opened the drawer with her right hand, but quickly closed it again. Liu Ruyan had just gotten beaten up and was probably still in the hospital. If he called me now, I might happily run right back to him. A love brain has zero principles. Shen Youchu had no plans to let me change my mind. I was her husband now. She calmly closed the drawer. She pushed up her glasses and said apologetically, Muhin, I don't have a charger that fits your phone here. I'll be done soon. We can charge it when we get home, okay? I looked a little disappointed. Oh, okay then. Shen Youchu handed me her iPad instead, so I could watch some drama. Right then, a new intern secretary, who had only been there a short while, came in to bring Shen Youchu coffee. She was wearing a short skirt that showed off her long legs, with a gorgeous figure and pretty features. When she saw me sprawled on the sofa watching TV, her face filled with surprise. President Shen had never had any man around her before. She never got close to guys. For any event that needed a male companion, she always brought Secretary Chen. The intern bit her lip. She placed the perfectly 65-degree coffee on Shen Youchu's desk and said softly, President Shen, it's getting late. Have some coffee to perk up. Shen Youchu kept staring at her screen, with zero change in expression. But my ears perked up instantly. With a guy's intuition, I sat straight up on the sofa, ran barefoot over to Shen Youchu, and stared hard at the pretty intern. The intern secretary felt my gaze and got all flustered. Why are you staring at me like that? I ignored her and asked Shen Youchu, wife, is she your secretary? The word wife completely shocked the intern. Her surprised eyes darted between me and Shen Youchu. What? President Shen has a husband. How come we never got the memo? The intern looked super awkward. If she'd known President Shen had a husband, she never would have tried anything. My clumsy little display of marking my territory made Shen Youchu extremely happy. She told the secretary to leave first, then took off her glasses and looked at me with those deep, captivating eyes. Jealous. I took the chance and plopped right into her lap, warning her seriously. You're a married woman now. You need to follow wifely virtues and stay pure and faithful, okay? Shen Youchu stared at my face, unsure for a second if I was teasing her on purpose or being dead serious. She tightened her arms around me, holding my tall frame close. With a husky, emotional voice, she said, You little troublemaker, you're really going to drive me crazy. On the other side, Liu Ruyan had gotten beaten up for no reason, even right in front of Yito Cheng. The pain left his face deathly pale. He was boiling with rage inside, wanting nothing more than to find the person who tripped him and beat them back 10 times harder. Luckily, Yito Cheng reacted fast and rushed him to the hospital immediately, staying by his side the whole time, caring for him attentively. Liu Ruyan wasn't actually badly hurt. Those steps hurt like hell, but somehow they didn't break any bones. He'd be able to leave the hospital soon. Liu Ruyan was generous with his money and always treated his classmates to meals and karaoke. Plus he was tall, good-looking, and stylish, so he had tons of friends. Everyone thought he was a rich, second-gen kid, and plenty of people sucked up to him when they heard he was hospitalized. Lots of people came to visit. Wow, that's weird. How come I don't see that sticky glue by Muhin? Such a perfect chance and he's not here. Cheng Cheng is the considerate one, huh? I heard Cheng Cheng was the one who brought Ruyan to the hospital and has been taking care of him the whole time. No one knew why Liu Ruyan was even hospitalized. Liu Ruyan found it strange, too. Getting beaten up and ending up in the hospital was pretty embarrassing, so he didn't say anything about it. Listening to everyone's chatter, his face looked terrible. He had already called me more than 10 times, but my phone was always off. I hadn't replied to any of his messages either. Liu Ruyan sneered coldly. He's been giving me attitude all day today, and I thought he'd come running back to coax me. When everyone heard that, they burst out laughing. Bai Muchen is actually acting tough this time. Come on, I don't mean to look down on him, but I bet he won't last 2 days before he comes crawling back to Ruyan. Exactly when has he ever lasted more than a day? Every time they fight, he apologizes by the afternoon. You're giving him way too much credit. Listening to them, Liu Ruyan's frustration eased a little. He said with a cold smile, this time, he really went too far. Even if he kneels and begs me, I won't forgive him. He didn't even buy me cold medicine, and he didn't bring me lunch either. He let me starve. Now almost everyone knows I'm in the hospital. But not only did he not come see me, he even turned off his phone. He's trying to force me to make our relationship public by throwing this tantrum. If I really give in to him this time, he'll get even worse in the future. Yito Chang watched Liu Ruyan's expression and knew his relationship with me was probably more complicated than it looked. But it didn't matter to him, as long as Liu Ruyan liked him and spent money only on him. That was enough. Just then, someone spoke up. Oh right, tomorrow is Bai Muchen's birthday. Is anyone going? Someone laughed and said, he always celebrates at Hongshuan Tower. How could he afford that? Whether he can even throw the party depends on whether our Ruyan-ji agrees or not. Everyone thought Liu Ruyan was the rich one, and I was just some ordinary guy leeching off him. But Liu Ruyan knew the truth. He was the poor one, and I was the one with real money. He didn't say anything right then. He just stayed quiet. Whether he can even throw a birthday party still depends on whether our Ruyan-ji agrees or not. Everyone thinks Liu Ruyan is some rich, second-gen heir, and just an ordinary guy leeching off him. But Liu Ruyan knows the truth. He's the poor one here. The one with real money is me. He stayed quiet for a moment. He wasn't lying after all. What other people say has nothing to do with him. Are you still throwing him a birthday party this year? Oh, remember to invite. Hongshuan Tower is so expensive. I've never been. Listening to everyone sucking up to him, Liu Ruyan's face slowly turned darker and darker. Thinking about me, who he hadn't seen in days, he narrowed his eyes. Don't worry. We'll all go together and have a blast. Someone asked. Doesn't that need Bai Muchen's approval, though? Someone laughed coldly. Bai Muchen does whatever Liu Ruyan says, as long as Liu Ruyan agrees. Bai Muchen won't object. What kind of backbone does a simp even have? Everyone burst out laughing again, and kept flattering Liu Ruyan for a long time. That night, Liu Ruyan was discharged from the hospital, with Yito Cheng right by his side. He noticed the dark circles under Yito Cheng's eyes, and remembered how Yito Cheng had stayed by his bedside for a whole day and night, without any rest, thinking about me avoiding him. His eyes flickered. He wrapped an arm around Yito Cheng's shoulders and said, Cheng, you must have been so scared these past 2 days. Thank you for staying with me the whole time. Oh right, last time you said you liked a certain necklace. Come on, let's go buy it for you. He refused to believe that spending money on a gift for Yito Cheng wouldn't make me mad. In less than half an hour, I was definitely going to call him. Unable to hold back, he took Yito Cheng to a famous high-end jewelry store. The pieces here were beautiful and crazy expensive. Yito Cheng's eyes lit up instantly. Liu Ruyan swiped my card and spent 6 figures on a necklace for Yito Cheng. Meanwhile, I was chilling in Shen Youchu's riverside villa, surfing the internet on my phone. To stop Liu Ruyan from contacting me, Shen Youchu secretly used my phone to block Liu Ruyan's number. Bai Muchen had no idea she'd done it, and even if he found out, she wasn't worried about getting scolded. After all, he was the one who started calling her wife, while Shen Youchu was making the bed in the bedroom. She received a call from Bai Muchen's mom. Bai Muchen's parents were still abroad enjoying the scenery, but they couldn't stop thinking about their son. Mom Bai asked, Xiao Shen, are you at home? Shen Youchu hadn't told Bai Muchen's mom about my accident, because she didn't want the elderly couple to worry. Plus, she had her own selfish reasons. If they flew back from abroad and took me away, she wouldn't get any alone time with me. She was really looking forward to using this couple time to build our relationship. Even though Shen Youchu came from an incredibly prestigious family, she was always very respectful to Bai Mushin's mom. Auntie Bai, I'm at home. Is everything okay? At that moment, Bai Mushin's dad took the phone and said, Xiao Shen, I just saw Mushin buy a necklace at some jewelry store. The brand is decent quality, but I know their head designer. If Mushin wants a necklace, I can get him a custom one. No need to buy a limited edition piece, right? Bai Mushin's parents had him late in life, and their only precious son would inherit a $1 trillion empire. Of course, they spoiled him like their heart and soul. Everything their son wanted was custom made, and one of a kind. They didn't want him wearing the same cheap necklace as everyone else. Bai Mushin's dad went on a bit long, and then said a little sheepishly, You know how Mushin fought with us a while back over something. We can't really talk to him about it. But you two are close, and he actually listens to you. Could you mention it to him? After hanging up, Shen Youchu stood there silently for a few seconds. She looked thoughtfully at me, who was sprawled on the living room sofa, binge-watching dramas on the tablet. Ever since we got home, I'd been glued to cheesy soap operas. I probably hadn't done any online shopping, and all my money had gone to Liu Ruyan anyway. Now I was using Shen Youchu's black card. Speaking of Liu Ruyan, Shen Youchu's eyes turned terrifyingly dark. Liu Ruyan had just used my bank card to buy a gift for his boyfriend. How nice. Fresh out of the hospital and already acting up, huh? Shen Youchu immediately called Bai Mushin's parents and explained the situation. She asked them to freeze my credit cards. Then, she called the housekeeper at the Bai family villa and told them to pack up all of Liu Ruyan's things and throw them out. He couldn't keep living in Bai Mushin's house. After all, she was Bai Mushin's real fiancé. Shen Youchu was practically family. She grew up next door, and the two families had been close since childhood. The Shen family was even more powerful than the Bai family. All the Bai family housekeepers loved Shen Youchu and had been fed up with Liu Ruyan for a long time. The second Shen Youchu called and gave the order, especially since Bai Mushin's parents were backing her. The housekeeper immediately gathered people to pack up every last thing Liu Ruyan owned and left it outside the villa gates. They also told Liu Ruyan's mother, Chin, to take it all when she got off work. I'd rented an apartment outside, and I'd also rented one next door for Liu Ruyan. But before university started, Liu Ruyan had always lived with me at the old Bai family mansion. Shen Youchu had hated that arrangement for ages. A driver's daughter getting picked by the young master was already a huge blessing for her. Yet she'd gotten completely spoiled and entitled. Shen Youchu had frozen his credit card and had all his stuff thrown out of the old mansion. She figured once Liu Ruyan found out, he'd definitely come looking for me, even though she'd acted on her own. Shen Youchu was a little worried I'd get angry. She sat down on the sofa next to me. I was totally absorbed in my drama, not paying any attention to her. Shen Youchu spoke up carefully. Bai Mushin, there's something I need to tell you. I hope you won't get mad. I glanced at her. What is it, wife? Just say it. I won't get mad. I even called her wife again. Shen Youchu looked a little helpless. You're really getting addicted to calling me that. She spoke slowly. I had the housekeeper throw all of Liu Ruyan's luggage out of the old mansion. He can't live there anymore. She paused for a second, then added cautiously, I'm your wife now. It wouldn't be right for him to keep staying there. You won't be mad, right? I didn't even remember who Liu Ruyan was, let alone where the old mansion was. I tried my best not to slip up, and asked carefully, who is this Liu Ruyan anyway, that he'd make you this upset? Shen Youchu looked at me in surprise. After a long moment she suddenly smiled. Liu Ruyan is just the daughter of a driver. Why would I even bother with him? If you'd started calling me wife and been with me sooner, I wouldn't have given him a second glance. I let out a relieved breath and said, exactly. Why should a driver's daughter live in the main mansion? Just kick him out already. Even the fancy villas have servant quarters. The drivers live in those. How ridiculous is it for the driver's daughter to stay in the main bedroom? I didn't see anything wrong with it. I even said, wife, you did the right thing. Shen Youchu couldn't hold back anymore. She pulled me straight into her arms. Gazing at my face, with barely contained emotion, she said softly, Bai Mushin, I want to kiss you. My face instantly turned bright red, but she was my wife. Kissing my wife seemed pretty normal, right? So, I blushed hard and awkwardly leaned in to give Shen Youchu a quick peck on the cheek. There you go, I said shyly. Shen Yuchu's brain exploded with fireworks. He kissed me. He actually kissed me first. Oh my God, was she dreaming? Shen Youchu couldn't hold back anymore. She suddenly pushed me down onto the sofa. My body was so much bigger than hers, compared to Shen Youchu, who was only 1.7 meters tall, with a slender, graceful figure. I practically took up twice the space. She pinned me down completely. Shen Youchu chased my lips. Kissing me so possessively, she stole every breath from my lungs. And still wanted more. She'd loved me for almost 10 years. And chased me for years. She'd been rejected twice already. She had never dared to dream that one day she'd get to hold me in her arms and actually become my wife. Shen Youchu was a little out of control, but the last shred of reason stopped her from going further. My head was still injured, and I hadn't recovered yet. She couldn't be reckless. That night my head started hurting again, so I wanted to go to bed early. I went to take a shower, but when I got to the walk-in closet, I realized there weren't any of my clothes. I was shocked. Had our relationship really become this cold? There wasn't even a single piece of my clothing here. I came out in a bathrobe, staring at Shen Youchu with a pitiful, wronged look. Wife, where are my clothes? Why isn't there a single thing of mine here? I was about to throw a tantrum. Shen Youchu had actually bought me tons of clothes, and had them washed, dried, and delivered. But watching me play dumb like this made her feel both helpless and a little mischievous. The clothes I bought you before. You said you didn't want them, remember? So, I threw them all away. My eyes went wide in disbelief. You really threw them out? Shen Youchu kept a straight, cool face and nodded. Of course. When she first set up this wedding villa, she had bought me so many things. Clothes, accessories, daily necessities. Even the curtains and bedsheets were all in the style I love. But not only had I rejected the marriage alliance between our families, I had secretly gone to her and told her I only saw her as a good older sister, and she shouldn't get any ideas. After being rejected by me again and again, Shen Youchu had finally decided to give up and stop being the clown in this story. So, she cleared out everything here, and now I had the nerve to ask. Shen Youchu teased me on purpose. Too late to regret it now. They're already gone. But since you called me wife, I'll reluctantly lend you a couple of my things. She pulled a loose, black t-shirt from her own closet. It was one she wore around the house. She was tall and slender, so the t-shirt that fit her perfectly would look cropped on me. I looked at the short little shirt and blushed. But then I thought, this is my wife. Wearing my wife's clothes is totally fine, right? So I took it with a red face. Then I said to Shen Youchu, hurry up and buy me some clothes. I can't go out wearing yours tomorrow. Blushing, I took the shirt and headed into the bathroom. Shen Youchu was stunned. I wasn't mad. I didn't even scold her. I just shyly accepted it. Shen Youchu was so unused to this. The thought of her clothes being on my body, and with no matching pants, made her whole body heat up. Her cheeks almost turned completely red. Shen Youchu stood there blushing, muttering to herself, to make Liu Ruyan jealous. This naughty boy is really going all out. After I finished showering, Shen Youchu had already showered in the other bathroom, and was wearing a loose white t-shirt and black athletic shorts. We ran into each other in the living room. I just showered, so my face was all pink and glowing. My short black hair was half dry, and, sticking up cutely, the cropped black t-shirt showed off my toned skin even more. The neckline was way too loose on me, so Shen Youchu couldn't help staring at my firm chest and pretty collarbones. To stop the shirt from sliding off my shoulder, I kept tugging at the collar and looked at Shen Youchu with a shy little pout. Look at your clothes. They're way too small. How is a wife supposed to act like this? Why didn't you hurry up and buy me clothes? Shen Youchu stood there frozen for a full minute. Then her ears turned bright red, the flush spreading down her neck and all the way to her cheeks. She realized she wasn't teasing me anymore. She was torturing herself. She turned slightly to the side and awkwardly tugged at her own shorts. She cleared her throat and didn't dare look at me anymore. Seeing the man she loved wearing her clothes like this was too much for any woman to handle. She pointed at the pile of brand new clothes on the sofa and said, I know. I'll get you new ones. These are yours too. Just wear them for now. Tomorrow I'll take you shopping. Actually, it would have been easier to just send me back to the old Bai mansion. But Shen Youchu knew Liu Ruyan used to live there, and once he found out his stuff had been thrown out, he'd definitely come make a scene, so she had no plans to send me back. Of course, if I threw a fit and demanded to go, she wouldn't be able to stop me. I happily grabbed one of the new pajamas and looked at it. Then I glared at Shen Youchu and said, from now on, you need to give me my own walk-in closet here, filled completely with my clothes. Got it? We're married now. We should act like it. What kind of married person's house doesn't have a single piece of her husband's clothes? What are you trying to pull? Are you still pretending to be single so you can flirt with all those cute guys? Do you make every little cutie who comes over wear your clothes? Shen Youchu reached out and gently covered my mouth. I don't. What are you even talking about? I would never do that. And why aren't there any of my clothes here? I already knew the answer in my heart, but I kept pretending. Shen Youchu looked both helpless and a little annoyed. I had no idea. I just gave a proud little huff. Good thing there aren't. Otherwise you'd be in big trouble. And hey. Shen Youchu was completely charmed and also a little turned on by my body. She didn't dare move around in front of me, so she stayed behind the sofa, gripping the backrest, like it could help hide her reaction. She looked at me and said, I know. You know I'd never say no to you. No matter what you ask. Go try on the clothes already. Stop walking around in mine. She was scared that if I kept strutting around like this, she really might lose control and turn into a beast. I finally took the pajamas and went to change. Boot. I felt like I should help strengthen our marriage a little. So right in front of Shen Youchu, I pulled off the tiny black t-shirt and tossed it right at her face. Here, give it back. Then I slowly slipped on the silky pajamas, my strong body on full display. The clothes that used to smell only like her were now completely filled with my scent. She was hit with that warm, familiar scent, and her face turned bright red. Her breathing hitched. She held the shirt in her hands and stared at me without blinking. Deep in her eyes, a wild, stormy light was flashing fiercely. I'm around 1.8 meters tall. Even though I'm strong and built, my body lines are smooth and flowing, my skin healthy and glowing, broad shoulders and long legs. A seriously handsome figure. Shen Youchu was already in her 20s and had never been intimate with anyone. Now the boy she loved was right in front of her, changing clothes so obviously just to tease her, and Shen Youchu kept a straight face, her eyes fierce, breathing heavy. Bai Muchen, do you even know what you're doing? She took big steps toward me and suddenly pulled me hard into her arms. Her grip was so tight, it felt like she wanted to crush me into her very bones. Her scorching breath sprayed against my ear, sending shivers racing all over me. Shen Youchu's voice was hoarse. I'm warning you. I can't hold back anymore. If you keep teasing me like this, it'll be too late to regret it. My face flushed bright red, feeling her body's reaction. I suddenly felt both shy and super nervous. I quickly fumbled to put the clothes on properly. Blushing hard, I stammered, my head hurts so bad. I need to sleep, tease and run. Shen Youchu was so frustrated she could explode. We were sleeping in the same bed. I climbed right onto Shen Youchu's bed myself. Shen Youchu was more than happy to let it happen. We shared one big blanket. I fell asleep like a carefree little log. But Shen Youchu tossed and turned, unable to sleep at all. Having me lying right beside her made her heart race so hard, it never calmed down. She kept thinking, what is he doing? If he only wanted to use me to provoke Liu Ruyan, did he really have to go this far? She'd already kicked Liu Ruyan out of the old mansion, and I hadn't said a single harsh word. I even praised her for doing the right thing, and climbed into bed with her. Goodbye Muchen. Actually like me now. Shen Youchu lay on the bed, watching my peaceful sleeping face. Her heart felt soft and warm. She whispered softly, Do you really like me? Shen Youchu gently pinched my nose. She still couldn't believe it. She even wondered if she was dreaming. She leaned down and kissed my lips softly, then hugged me tight. In a quiet voice she said, "No matter what the reason is. You called me wife. You climbed into my bed. It's too late to take it back now." The next morning, when I woke up, Shen Youchu was already dressed and working. She sat at the dining table, looked at me and asked, "Bai Mushin, it's your birthday today. Still celebrating at Hongshuan Tower?" I always celebrated my birthdays at Hongshuan Tower. I loved the private, classy vibe there. The bandage on my head had already been changed, and the gauze removed, leaving just a small, 5 centimeters square patch, with my hair covering it. You could barely tell. I didn't remember how I used to celebrate birthdays. But when Shen Youchu asked, I nodded. Yeah, still at Hongshuan Tower. I like it there. Shen Youchu understood. She nodded. I'll call them then. Hongshuan Tower wasn't some Michelin restaurant or hotel. It was a super famous private restaurant in Beijing. Reservations were booked 2 years out. Since I celebrated there every year, I didn't need to reserve in advance. The owner always kept my private room ready. But even so, Shen Youchu still booked an extra room. She didn't want to run into Liu Ruyan. At noon, Shen Youchu personally drove me to Hongshuan Tower. Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan hadn't been able to contact me for 2 whole days, and his patience was almost gone. In our relationship, he was always the one on top. He never admitted he was wrong, or lowered his head to me, and this time was no different. I wasn't coming to him. My phone was off, and I wasn't even showing up to class. Normally, little tricks like this wouldn't affect him at all. But now his classmates kept asking, "Today's Bai Mushin's birthday, right? Are we still going to Hongshuan Tower?" Of course, we are. Even if the simp isn't there. Who cares? The room's already booked anyway. Whether Bai Mushin shows up or not, doesn't matter. Not everyone was rich. Even though Liu Ruyan spent money like water to build his rich second-gen image, he actually hated rich people and despised sucking up to guys like me. So all his friends came from average families. The classmates asking if the birthday party was still on were dying to go to Hongshuan Tower. Getting a free fancy meal there would give them bragging rights for ages. Ito Cheng had heard Hongshuan Tower was a super exclusive private restaurant where celebrities, tycoons, officials' kids, and rich heirs all loved to eat. He wanted to go too. He was good-looking and friendly. Maybe he'd meet some important people there. Ito Cheng thought to himself, but on the surface he said, "But Ruyan Ji, Bai Mushin hasn't come to school these past 2 days, and he's not even showing up for his own birthday. Do you think he doesn't want to have the party?" Liu Ruyan laughed coldly. "The room's already booked, and the menu's set. If he doesn't come, do we cancel? Doesn't matter. Today, at noon, 12 o'clock, everyone's going to Hongshuan Tower for a meal. My treat." The whole group cheered. Liu Ruyan had gotten so used to swiping my card, he'd forgotten it wasn't his money. Once I took everything back, he'd be nothing. At noon, Shen Youchu and I arrived at our private room on the 2nd floor of Hongshuan Tower. This was the VIP room, reserved especially for Shen Youchu. I heard loud chatter coming from the room next door, and said to Shen Youchu, "Sounds like business is good here. Pretty lively." Shen Youchu frowned slightly. A little unhappy. Hongshuan Tower is usually quiet and elegant. Why is it so noisy today? She called the manager over and asked what was going on next door. "It's too loud." The manager saw it was Shen Youchu and broke out in a nervous sweat. He bowed. "President Shen, the room next door is also one of our members. It seems someone is having a birthday today and invited over a dozen classmates. If it's too noisy for you, I can have them switch rooms." When Shen Youchu heard that, something clicked. She glanced at me and thought, birthday party, could it really be this much of a coincidence? Could he have done this on purpose? Brought me to Hongshuan Tower for dinner, and then invited all his classmates and Liu Ruyan, just to make Liu Ruyan see us eating together, to purposely provoke him. Shen Youchu's face darkened a little. She told the manager, "Never mind, don't worry about them. Just serve our food quickly." The manager wiped his sweat and hurried off. I noticed Shen Youchu had suddenly gotten unhappy again, and her expression toward me turned gloomy too, like a dark cloud hanging over my head. I peeked at her face nervously and asked softly, "Wife, are you upset?" Shen Youchu listened to the noisy chatter next door and heard me call her wife. Before she could answer, someone appeared at the doorway. She looked up, and her brows instantly lowered. It was Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan had appeared at their private room door at some point and was staring at me with pure fury. Shen Youchu suddenly smiled. She thought, I knew it. That's why he suddenly started calling me wife. So that's what this is about. I finally noticed something was wrong too. I followed Shen Yuchu's gaze and turned my head. Standing in the doorway was a tall, beautiful young woman, glaring at me with rage. A few of Liu Ruyan's classmates behind her spoke up. See? I wasn't lying. Ruyan, I really saw Bai Mushin. He's really here. Whoa, Bai Mushin, it's you. You're here. Why didn't you come find Ruyan? We're right next door. Their chattering was giving me a headache. I didn't even bother listening closely. I frowned slightly and scooted closer to Shen Youchu. I whispered, "Wife, they're so loud. I guess those people probably knew me, but I didn't want to slip up about my amnesia. So I just pretended I didn't know them." Shen Youchu naturally put her arm around my shoulders and asked, "You think they're too noisy? Then I'll have them all leave." She pressed the service button and told the manager to escort the people at the door away. "Don't disturb me and my love while we're eating." Liu Ruyan and his classmates were quickly ushered out by the Hongshuan Tower staff. Liu Ruyan's pride was huge. In front of all his classmates, he couldn't possibly beg me. He definitely wouldn't compromise with me and agree to my earlier demand to publicly announce our relationship at the birthday party. Yito Chang was still sitting in the next room. He couldn't possibly ditch Yito Chang for me. But the fact that I didn't come over and chose to eat with Shen Youchu instead made him lose face. He stormed back to his own room in a terrible mood. With a cold face, he said, since he doesn't want to come now, he can forget about ever coming again. He slammed his hand on the table. Everyone, don't worry about him. Today isn't about any birthday party anymore. It's just me treating everyone to a meal. Order whatever you want. Don't hold back. He was so used to swiping my card. He'd even forgotten it wasn't his money to spend. Every time we fought, he'd go on a huge shopping spree with my card. He couldn't even explain why. But the moment I reached out first and asked if he was missing anything, he felt this weird rush of satisfaction. The whole group cheered excitedly. The private room was split into 2 tables for the 17 or 18 people. They were all young and had big appetites, so they ordered a ton of expensive dishes. Yito Chang watched Liu Ruyan being so generous, and his heart raced a little too. But Liu Ruyan's face still looked terrible. Yito Chang blushed and poured him a glass of wine. Softly he said, "Ruyan, gee, let's have a drink together." Liu Ruyan was staring at me with a victorious, smug smile. He knew I would definitely come over. No matter how amazing Shen Youchu was, she was still his defeated rival. I froze. The conversation between the 2 women carried a lot of hidden meaning. Before I could even react, Shen Youchu asked if I wanted to go over. I looked at Liu Ruyan's furious face and noticed the unfriendly stares from the classmates at the door. I immediately felt those people outside weren't good people. Right now I only trusted Shen Youchu, so I reached out and grabbed Shen Yuchu's sleeve tightly. In a tiny voice I said, "Wife, he's so scary. I don't want to go over." The smug smile on Liu Ruyan's face gradually froze and turned into pure disbelief. He stared at me in shock and blurted out, "Bai Muhan, what did you just say?" His shout made me flinch. I instantly hugged Shen Yuchu's arm tighter. I said pitifully, "Wife, he's so mean. You've never yelled at me like that, even though our marriage wasn't great." And Shen Youchu was pretty cold to me sometimes. She would even tease me sarcastically. But Shen Youchu had never spoken to me in such a fierce tone. Not only was Liu Ruyan shocked, even Shen Youchu herself found it a little surreal. She had thought I was just using her to make Liu Ruyan jealous earlier. Now that Liu Ruyan had come in person, she assumed I would leave her without hesitation and follow Liu Ruyan. But I did the complete opposite. A few of Liu Ruyan's classmates behind him looked surprised. What? Bai Muhan actually has a wife? Wasn't he madly in love with Liu Ruyan? Hey, but his wife now is way prettier than Liu Ruyan, and looks super rich too. Wow, Bai Muhan is really something. First, he chased Liu Ruyan. Then, when he couldn't get her, he switched targets right away. He's got some real scheming skills. Liu Ruyan was extremely annoyed. He couldn't stand people saying Shen Youchu was better than him. He forcefully pushed the door open and walked in. His eyes were bloodshot as he stared at me. Bai Muhan, do you really have to provoke me like this? Just because I didn't agree to your request. His roar made my ears hurt. I hugged Shen Yuchu's arm tightly and looked at Liu Ruyan in panic. Liu Ruyan stared at me. That's enough. If you keep acting like this, I am really going to get angry. His tone was very fierce. In the past, I would have apologized immediately, coaxed him, and begged him not to be mad. Right now he was waiting for exactly that, waiting for me to apologize and leave Shen Youchu to go with him. But he didn't get it. I hugged Shen Yuchu's arm even tighter, feeling uneasy. I said softly, "Wife, maybe we should just leave. I don't want to eat anymore. Liu Ruyan is too scary." I had lost my memory and didn't remember anything from before, so I didn't know how to deal with Liu Ruyan. But my sixth sense told me Liu Ruyan wasn't good to me. In my memory, he never made me feel happy or safe. Unlike Shen Youchu, the moment I saw her, I felt completely at ease. Seeing me like this, Shen Youchu finally realized I wasn't using her. I really didn't want Liu Ruyan anymore, and had decided to be with her. Shen Yuchu's face turned cold immediately. She told the restaurant manager to bring people over and escort the unrelated people out. Don't disturb me and my love while we're eating. Liu Ruyan and his classmates were quickly escorted out by the Hongshuan Tower manager. Liu Ruyan's pride was extremely strong. In front of so many classmates, he couldn't possibly beg me. He definitely wouldn't compromise with me. Like agreeing to my earlier request to publicly announce our relationship at the birthday party, Yito Cheng was still sitting in the next room. He couldn't possibly abandon Yito Cheng to be with me. But the fact that I didn't come over and chose to eat with Shen Youchu instead also made him lose face. He went back to his own room in a terrible mood. With a cold face he said, since he doesn't want to come now, then from now on he doesn't need to come ever again. He slammed the table hard. He said to everyone, forget about him. Today isn't about any birthday party anymore. It's just me treating everyone to a meal. Order whatever you want. Don't be polite. Every time he fought with me, he would go on a huge shopping spree with my card. He couldn't even explain his own feelings. But the moment I contacted him first and asked what he was missing, he felt a strange thrill. Everyone cheered immediately. The private room of 17 or 18 people was split into 2 tables. They were all young people with big appetites and ordered a lot of expensive dishes. Yito Cheng watched Liu Ruyan being so generous, and his heart beat faster. But Liu Ruyan's face still didn't look good. Yito Cheng blushed and poured him a glass of wine. Softly, he said, "Ruyan geez, let's have a drink together." Everyone immediately started teasing them. "Aww, are you two about to drink a lover's toast?" Yito Cheng lowered his head, blushing, and didn't say a word. Liu Ruyan laughed and glared at the person. "Stop talking nonsense." The group kept cheering them on. Yito Cheng saw that even after drinking, Liu Ruyan's face still looked bad. He knew I was in the private room right next door. Liu Ruyan's mood had only gotten worse after going over there and coming back. He had to make his move fast. If I came back, Liu Ruyan might start wavering again. So while everyone was happily drinking, Yito Cheng suddenly leaned in and kissed Liu Ruyan right on the lips. In front of everyone, Liu Ruyan froze. He looked at Yito Cheng hugging him and didn't push him away. Yito Cheng blushed even harder and kissed Liu Ruyan again. Liu Ruyan thought about how I had been hugging Shen Yuchu's arm earlier, and his face turned cold. He pulled Yito Cheng closer and kissed him hard. The two of them made out for almost a full minute. The classmates around them went wild. "Whoa, you're really living the dream, Ruyan. First Bai Muhan was head over heels for you, And now Yido Cheng is throwing himself at you. Are you officially dating now? Let's congratulate this new couple. The whole private room was cheering like crazy. Shen Youchu could hear everything they were saying. Liu Ruyan and Yido Cheng confirming their relationship was actually good news for her. She was just worried it would hurt me. She kept glancing at my face and saw I didn't look upset at all. I just whispered softly, "Wife, can we go eat somewhere else? They're so loud." Honestly, I was mostly worried that the people next door would come looking for me after they finished eating and say a bunch of weird stuff. I still didn't want my wife to find out about my amnesia. At least not until our relationship felt more solid. I really like this wife of mine right now, and I don't want to get divorced yet. Shen Youchu was more than happy to leave. She immediately took me out of Hongshuan Tower. After we left, Liu Ruyan, who was about to pay the bill after finishing the meal, was completely stunned. He sat in the main seat, watching the manager politely hand his card back and say, "I'm sorry, your card has been locked and cannot be used for payment. Would you like to use another card?" This meal for so many people was well into 6 figures. When everyone heard that Liu Ruyan's card was locked and he couldn't pay, the whole room went silent. Liu Ruyan's face turned dark. "This is my card. It's a supplementary card from Bai Mushin's parents. The limit is 8 figures. As long as he doesn't spend tens of millions in one day, this card shouldn't be locked. Even the card I gave him got locked. What the hell is he playing at? Is he being serious? Or is he trying to force me to compromise this way?" Liu Ruyan's face looked terrifyingly dark. He gritted his teeth. "I only brought this one card. Can I pay on credit for now? I'll come back tomorrow to settle it." Yido Cheng spoke up for him too. "Manager, Ruyan Ji is a regular here. This isn't the first time he's spent money here. Today was just an accident. He didn't know the card was locked. Can you please make an exception?" The manager looked at Yido Cheng with a difficult expression. They had never allowed credit here before. Besides, everyone who ate here was either rich or powerful. They had never seen someone who couldn't pay the bill. The manager's face turned a little colder. He said to Liu Ruyan, "This VIP room was specially reserved for young Master Bai. Since you're using it, you're obviously his friend. I'll call him and ask for his opinion. If he says it's okay, then there's no problem. After all, the Bai family were VIPs here. The Bai family had assets worth hundreds of billions. It was impossible for them to eat and not pay. Basically, the manager wanted confirmation. If Liu Ruyan didn't pay, he could still go to me. But the second Liu Ruyan heard they were going to call me, he exploded. No. He stood up abruptly and said coldly, "Don't call him." Then, he laughed coldly. "Fine, fine, fine. So this is his little trick. He's been waiting for this. Waiting for me to come crawling back and beg him. Impossible." The manager had no idea what the girl in front of him was talking about. But people in the service industry had plenty of patience. Since she didn't want him to call Bai Mushin, he would just wait and see what she planned to do. He stood there, holding the bill, and looked at Liu Ruyan. Yido Cheng, hearing what Liu Ruyan said, also realized what was happening, and spoke up disapprovingly. "Bai Mushin is being way too childish. The money isn't even his. How can he lock your card like this?" He thought Liu Ruyan's card being locked was something Bai Mushin had done on purpose, like entering the wrong password too many times. The people around them who had been a little suspicious now believed it completely after hearing Yido Cheng. Damn, Bai Mushin is actually this scheming. Ha! Ruyan is just too soft-hearted. She trusted him so much, and he stabbed her in the back at a time like this. So disgusting. No wonder he has no friends at school. Ruyan never accepted him either. Turns out his character is this bad. While everyone was gossiping, Liu Ruyan's face grew darker and darker. Of course, he wasn't going to explain to them. If they found out that everything he had been spending was actually my money, that his real identity wasn't some rich second-gen, but the daughter of the family driver, how would everyone look at him? He would be surrounded by mocking eyes. To protect his pride, he had to get through today's crisis. He took the bill and glanced at it. A wave of rage surged up inside him. He looked around at everyone. These people really knew how to eat. They were ordering the most expensive things, when it wasn't even their money. Tens of thousands of wine, drunk like water. Thousands of yuan dishes treated like cheap cabbage. Just one meal, and they had spent over 300,000 of his money. Liu Ruyan's heart was bleeding, but he had to keep up appearances. He kept a straight face, took out his phone and said to the manager, "Forget it. I still have some pocket money in a few other accounts. I'll pay with those first. You don't need to call Bai Mushan. I'd rather die than lower my head to him." The manager didn't care whether he lowered his head or not. As long as the bill got paid, everything was fine. Yito Cheng looked at Liu Ruyan like this, and felt even more excited inside. It was good that Liu Ruyan wasn't going to find Bai Mushan, as long as Bai Mushan didn't show up again. He was confident he could keep Liu Ruyan firmly in his grasp. Liu Ruyan had been in school all these years, and had never done summer jobs or part-time work, so he had no money of his own. His mother was the Bai family's driver, and made decent money, but she wouldn't give it to him. All the money he had now was what I had given him before. Even though he spent money like crazy, he'd always used my card. The transfers in big red packets I gave him, he had saved in Alipay. After years of spending lavishly, he had managed to save about 200,000. But that alone wasn't nearly enough to cover the bill. Watching the balance get wiped clean, Liu Ruyan strangely felt less heartache and more resentment toward me. I really didn't love him. All along I'd just been playing with him. In the end he emptied his savings and maxed out 2 credit cards, owing over 100,000 on the cards. Before he could finally settle the bill, after paying, he looked at the room full of classmates and found them all extremely annoying. He didn't even feel like dealing with Yito Cheng anymore. He ignored everyone else and left with a cold face. Shen Youchu took me to a romantic Western restaurant. Under the soft piano music, Shen Youchu gave me a sapphire necklace. I love blue. Most of the gifts Shen Youchu gives me have a blue theme. I love them so much. I like this wife even more now. On the way back, Shen Youchu said to me, "You've already rested for 3 days. Do you want to go back to school tomorrow?" After the whole scene at Hongshuan Tower, I already knew I was a university student. It really wasn't okay to keep skipping class forever. I couldn't just keep resting forever. I hesitated between taking a leave and going back to class for a moment. But I decided to go back to school. After all, even though I lost my memory, I still remembered the content of my major classes. I study classical dance. Even if my brain forgot, my body still remembered. The moment I hear music, I instinctively want to do a few moves. When I hear certain classical pieces, I even feel a strong sense of familiarity. Maybe going back to school would help my body recover. So I nodded. "Then I'll go back to class tomorrow." Shen Youchu didn't think much of it. She nodded while driving. "Okay, you'll still stay at my place then. It's close to the university." Actually, she didn't want me to go back to school, because Liu Ruyan and I went to the same school. She didn't want us to run into each other. But then she thought she couldn't just lock me up like a little bird in a cage. And if I really still liked Liu Ruyan, she wouldn't be able to stop me anyway. I had already rejected Liu Ruyan at Hongshuan Tower. Maybe she should trust me. Thinking this, Shen Youchu held my hand at a red light. She said gently, "From now on, I'll be your personal driver. I'll pick you up and drop you off at school every day. Okay?" My eyes lit up. I nodded excitedly. "Of course. Thank you, wife." Shen Youchu couldn't help smiling too. Her usually serious face, framed by glasses, looked even more beautiful when she smiled. I stared at her in a daze for a few seconds. I thought to myself, no wonder she's my wife. I really know how to pick them. Shen Youchu's smile grew wider. These past 2 days felt like a dream to her. I kept smiling at her, praising her, and looking at her with such adoring, loving eyes, that it made her overjoyed, yet a little unused to it. As the light turned green, she let go of my hand and kept driving. She said, "You've been so obedient and sweet lately. Are you sure you don't have something you want to ask me for?" Back when I fought with my parents about not wanting to study abroad and ran away from home, I had gone to Shen Yu once. I had acted super obedient and sweet then too, calling her Youchu Ji non-stop. My little mouth had been so sweet. Now, my behavior reminded her of that time. Except this time I wasn't calling her Ji. I was calling her wife. She wanted to stay rational. But how could anyone resist being called wife? If I called her wife in bed, she would probably give me her whole life. Shen Youchu's smile was bright and hard to hide. After chasing me for so many years, and staying single her whole life, she was finally getting a taste of what being in love felt like. I felt a little guilty and said, "What could I possibly need to ask you for? You've been so good to me, I don't need anything else." The only thing was hiding my amnesia from her. That shouldn't be a big deal, right? I felt super guilty. Shen Youchu was driving, and didn't have time to study my expression closely. She said, "Since you want to go back to school tomorrow, I'll take you to the hospital today." First, to the hospital. I instinctively reached up and touched the wound on my forehead. I thought, if we go to the hospital, won't Shen Youchu find out about my amnesia? Shen Youchu glanced at me and saw my face didn't look good. She comforted me gently. "Don't worry. It's just a follow-up appointment to change your medicine. I'll be right there with you. Don't be scared." The reason I was scared was exactly because she was coming with me. I felt like crying but had no tears. When we reached the hospital entrance, I still hadn't come up with an excuse to make Shen Youchu leave. Shen Youchu had already opened the car door and helped me out. I could only follow her. When we got to the doctor's door, I had a sudden idea. I hugged Shen Youchu's arm and started acting spoiled. "Wife, I suddenly really want some grapes. Can you go buy some for me at the entrance, please?" Even though Shen Youchu had found a familiar specialist, there were people ahead of us, so we still had to wait a bit. Seeing it was almost my turn, she frowned slightly and said gently, "Be good. You can eat later. Let me stay with you for the checkup first." There was no way I was letting Shen Youchu come into the doctor's room with me. I kept acting spoiled. "Aw, go buy them for me first. The entrance is right there. By the time you come back, I'll be done with the doctor and changing the medicine. Isn't that perfect, wife? You're the best to me." Shen Youchu couldn't resist my spoiled act at all. Seeing my eager, pleading eyes, and hearing my sweet little voice, she surrendered immediately. She said dotingly, "Okay, okay. Wait here for me. I'll go buy them right now." I was overjoyed, and nodded obediently. I sat down on the bench, and said, "Go ahead and buy them, wife. No rush. I'll wait right here for you." Shen Youchu nodded, and turned to leave. She had come out today specifically to celebrate my birthday, and have a date with me, so she hadn't brought her assistant. Now she had to run the errand herself. She wasn't completely at ease leaving me alone, so she walked quickly. The second Shen Youchu left, I immediately went into the doctor's office. By coincidence, the doctor doing my follow-up today was the same one from before. When the doctor saw me, he looked relieved. "Your wound is healing very well. How about it? Have you remembered anything yet?" I sighed and shook my head sadly. "Nothing at all." The doctor said kindly, "You should spend more time with your family, and have them tell you about your past. Or, go to familiar places and meet familiar friends. It might help." I nodded, and said, a little embarrassedly, I've been spending every day with my wife lately, and tomorrow I'm going back to school." The doctor nodded. "That's good. I'll recommend a brain specialist for you. You can make an appointment with them later." I had been brought here together with other car accident victims. This was the city center's main hospital. For my special kind of memory issue, I still needed to see a professional doctor. When I came out holding the prescription, I secretly slipped it into my pocket before looking around for Shen Youchu. I thought she wouldn't be back so soon. But the second I looked up, I saw Shen Youchu standing at the door with a dark expression, holding a bag of grapes. Her eyes were extremely serious. As she stared at me, I got a huge fright. My heart skipped a beat, and I broke out in cold sweat. "Oh no, did Shen Youchu hear everything?" I looked at her guiltily. My voice was even shaking a little. "Whoa, wife, you're back." Shen Youchu stared at me in silence. She was already tall and graceful, and right now, her aura was incredibly intimidating. Her deep, sharp eyes and striking features made her look quite scary when she kept a straight face. It was honestly frightening, and at that moment, I was terrified. I didn't know why, but the second I saw Shen Youchu like this, my heart started pounding like crazy. This kind of nervousness wasn't just because I was hiding my amnesia. It felt like a deep instinctive reaction from the bottom of my heart. It was as if I'd known since I was little. That whenever Shen Youchu made this face, I was about to be in big trouble. I called out softly, "Wife," a couple of times. When I got no response, I panicked and turned to run. But before I could even take 2 steps, Shen Youchu grabbed the back of my collar. Shen Youchu was over 17 meters tall and always worked out, so she was strong and fit. At 17 meters, I looked tiny and delicate next to her. Shen Youchu lifted me back almost effortlessly, with just one hand. Her face was still deadly serious. She carried me back and plopped me down on the chair outside the doctor's room. She placed the grapes on my lap, then, suddenly, leaned down, planting both hands on the armrests beside me. Her tall frame completely trapped me in the chair. Her eyes were dark and heavy, lips pressed tight. She stared at me for almost a full minute. I shrank back in the chair, surrounded by her scent, completely lost under her serious, scary gaze. I had no idea what to do. I leaned back hard against the seat, heart racing with guilt and panic. My eyes darted everywhere as I stammered, What are you doing? This is a hospital. People are watching." I was so scared my eyes were getting teary. This wife of mine was usually so good to me, but when she got mad, she was seriously scary. Shen Youchu's voice came out hoarse. It was obvious. She was fighting hard to hold back her anger and the fear behind it. She asked in a low voice, "You lost your memory." I froze, then looked up guiltily and met her eyes. I didn't say a word. Shen Youchu already understood everything. After a long pause, she let out a bitter laugh. She sat down heavily on the chair beside me. In a quiet voice, she said, "No wonder. You suddenly changed so much. You came back to me, started calling me wife, and at Hongshuan Tower, you completely ignored Liu Ruyan, while clinging tightly to my arm. It was like after being hurt by her so many times, I had finally chosen her for real. A real, firm choice. This was something she had dreamed of for so long. It finally happened, only because I lost my memory and mistook her for my wife." I noticed Shen Youchu's mood was off. She looked both heartbroken and angry at the same time. She also seemed strangely excited. After a brief moment of pain and anger, a wild joy surged up from the bottom of her heart. Lost his memory and mistook her for his wife. Shen Youchu's eyes narrowed slightly. She suddenly turned to me. Those sharp eyes locked onto mine. It felt like some intense emotion was rushing toward me like a roaring tsunami. I got startled by that look. I was so scared, I was about to cry. Wife, you're not going to abandon me just because I lost my memory, right? I was terrified of being abandoned. I felt like Shen Youchu was so reliable, so good to me, and she was my wife. I still wanted to stay with her. If she took advantage of my amnesia and threw me away since I didn't remember anything, I'd end up on the streets. Just thinking about it scared me to death. A few seconds later, Shen Youchu suddenly smiled. It wasn't the bitter smile from before, but a gentle, loving one, full of affection. She reached out and gently patted my shoulder. Then, softly, wiped away the tears at the corner of my eyes. She pulled me into her arms, hiding the dark possessiveness in her eyes. "How could I possibly abandon you? We grew up together. Our families are old friends. You're the person I love most in this world. I promised I'd always spoil you like my precious young master. How could I abandon you just because you lost your memory?" Shen Youchu looked down at me with teary eyes and said tenderly, her heart aching, "I got mad earlier because you lost your memory and didn't even tell me. You were trying to hide it from me. If I hadn't found out, how long were you planning to keep it from me?" I felt guilty and mumbled, I just didn't feel safe. I don't remember anyone. I didn't know who I could trust." Shen Youchu hugged me tighter, her heart aching. "Good thing I found out. What if you had been tricked by some bad person? I wouldn't even have known." Thinking about it made me a little scared too. I said gratefully, "Good thing I have you, wife." Just then, a sudden phone ringtone went off. It was my phone. While I was still digging in my pocket, Shen Youchu's face had already turned dark. This was the special ringtone I had set for Liu Ruyan. Shen Youchu had previously taken my phone and blocked Liu Ruyan's number, but gave up because she couldn't find him on WeChat. Liu Ruyan had secretly made a new account to add me, so no one would know about us. That account only had me on it, with a blank name. He wouldn't let me save his contact. Every time we chatted, he made me delete the history. Now he was suddenly calling me on WeChat with that account. Shen Youchu could guess why. His card had been frozen by her, so he couldn't pay at Hongshuan Tower, and was calling me for help. I took out my phone and saw the blank profile picture and name. Confused, I asked, "Wife? Who is this person? Should I answer?" Shen Youchu took the phone, glanced at it, and shook her head. "It's someone who's been bothering you for a long time. I'll block them." "Okay." I nodded immediately. Right now I'd agree to anything Shen Youchu said. She took my phone and blocked Liu Ruyan's alt account. Then she went through my contacts and deleted everyone connected to Liu Ruyan. She had wanted to do this for a long time. People like Liu Ruyan didn't deserve to be in my life at all. Liu Ruyan saw that his WeChat call got hung up. Standing on the street, he stared at his phone in disbelief. He actually hung up on me. He tried calling again with his regular number. Then, finally realized he had been blocked. In a fit of rage, Liu Ruyan smashed his phone. It was the brand new one I had bought him last month. He smashed it to pieces. Liu Ruyan laughed coldly. "Bai Muhan, you've got guts. Just wait. Don't regret this later." Shen Youchu went through my phone thoroughly, making sure everything related to Liu Ruyan was gone. Then she handed it back to me. "Wait here for me. I'm going to ask the doctor about your condition." I nodded obediently and sat on the chair waiting. Shen Youchu came back out soon after and took me out of the hospital. In the car, Shen Youchu hesitated a little while. "I didn't want you to go back to school, but the doctor said returning to a familiar environment would help with your memory recovery." I nodded. "Yehi. So I'll go back to class tomorrow." "Don't worry, wife. I can handle it by myself. As long as you pick me up on time. I won't need to talk to anyone else outside of class. I think it'll be fine." Shen Youchu thought for a moment. A university was close to home, and close to her company too. Plus, she could come find me for lunch every day, and pick me up early in the afternoon. That should be okay. My amnesia was actually quite serious. It would be best if I recovered as soon as possible. Even if recovering my memory might make me leave her, my health was the most important thing. Then I'll come pick you up early in the afternoon. That should be totally fine. I've lost my memory right now, and this condition is actually pretty serious. Recovering as soon as possible would be best. Even if after I regain my memory, I might end up leaving her, my health is still the most important thing. Shen Youchu sighed. "All right then. I'll drive you to school tomorrow. But for now, just listen to me. Let's go see a brain specialist first." I nodded. "Okay. I'll listen to whatever my wife says." Shen Youchu took me to see the brain specialist. After a bunch of tests, the conclusion was that there was nothing seriously wrong. My memory would definitely come back eventually, but they couldn't say exactly when. In other words, I might start remembering things in just a few days, or it could take half a year, a whole year, or even several years. The only thing they could be sure of was that my injuries had mostly healed. I could go back to normal life and social activities. The doctor also told Shen Youchu maybe he had some bad memories before. That hurt him deeply inside. So his body activated a self-protection mechanism and made him forget everything. Shen Youchu thought to herself, what kind of hurt could he have had? In the end, it was all because of Liu Ruyan. Shen Youchu took me home, her heart feeling a little heavy, but I just hugged her like nothing was wrong and comforted her sweetly. "Wife, don't worry. Even if I never get my memory back, it's okay. At least I still remember you." Shen Youchu looked at me hugging her so willingly and felt a bittersweet ache in her chest. She wrapped her arms around me tightly. We sat together on the sofa. One hand held my waist. The other gently lifted my chin, her burning gaze fixed on my face. As she whispered softly, "Do you really?" Shen Youchu knew I had only mistaken her for my wife after seeing our WeChat chat history. But she didn't care. She only cared about the result. I remembered her. I called her wife. I let her hold me. Let her do whatever she wanted. Everything she wanted to do to me was allowed now. She was my legal wife. I looked at Shen Youchu and nodded. My voice soft and sweet. "Of course I remember. The moment you walked into the hospital room. The second I saw your face. It felt so familiar. Before you came I was so scared and anxious. But the moment you appeared, I suddenly felt safe again. Saying that, I nuzzled deeper into Shen Youchu's embrace, burying myself completely in her arms, breathing in her warm scent. I felt so happy and content. Right then, I just knew you had to be my wife. Otherwise, why would seeing you make me feel so safe? Hearing this, Shen Youchu's breathing grew heavy. Really, her voice was incredibly husky, and her heartbeat quickened. She had never heard me say things like this before. That she made me feel safe. That she was the person I trusted most. The heavy possessiveness and love in her heart surged wildly. Shen Youchu couldn't hold back anymore. Her love came crashing down like a fierce tsunami, like towering mountains, completely overwhelming me. I could only helplessly clutch her sleeve. She was the tsunami, but also the only lifeline I could hold on to. Shen Youchu pressed me down onto the sofa. We stayed close for a long time. Even though Shen Youchu usually seemed restrained and gentle, always spoiling me and listening to everything I said, when she got really intense, I couldn't resist her at all. More than half an hour later, Shen Youchu finally let go of me. As I gasped for air, she said softly, "You must be hungry, right? I'll go make dinner for you." With that, she released me and quickly headed toward the bathroom. She said she was making dinner, but why was she going to the bathroom? My face was still flushed red. My short hair, that reached my neck, messily spread across the beige sofa, making my skin look even fairer and rosier. I lay on the sofa for a while, but my heart just wouldn't calm down. Shen Youchu had been so passionate and dominant just now. I couldn't move at all, and could only whimper and beg. I thought something more was really going to happen today, even though I wasn't fully ready yet. But what's there that I can't do with my own wife? We've probably done those intimate things countless times already. I didn't know why Shen Youchu was holding back. I fixed my rumpled shirt, and only then noticed that my collar had been pulled down to my shoulders at some point. My face instantly turned burning red. I thought I didn't even notice when things got so heated. Even now, my face was still hot with embarrassment. I straightened my clothes and sat on the sofa waiting for Shen Youchu. I waited and waited. Shen Youchu took over an hour in the shower. I had no idea what she was doing in there. My stomach was growling, and there was no ready food or snacks in the fridge. So I walked to the bathroom door and knocked. "Are you done showering yet?" Just then, I heard a suppressed heavy groan from inside. My face turned bright red in an instant. I had a feeling Shen Youchu wasn't doing anything innocent in there. A few minutes later, Shen Youchu came out with wet hair, wearing a loose bathrobe. I was much shorter than her, so my eyes landed right on her delicate collarbones and that elegant swan-like neck. My face burned like a tomato. I didn't know where to look. Shen Youchu wasn't wearing her glasses, and her usual neatly tied hair was now wet and loosely falling over her shoulders. It was completely different from her usual serious, steady self, and looked a little seductive. Shen Youchu's voice was low and husky, her breathing a bit heavy. She stared at me with burning eyes. I was showering, and you kept calling me wife from outside. What exactly do you want? Shen Youchu stepped closer, looking at my flushed face. With that magnetic, low voice, she asked softly, "Why aren't you saying anything? Do you want to shower with your wife?" I shook my head awkwardly, and no. I felt like today's Shen Youchu was different from before. The past 2 days she had been good to me, but her tone was quite cold, and she didn't have much physical contact with me. But today she was completely different. It seemed to start after she found out I lost my memory. Before I could think deeper about it, Shen Youchu suddenly cupped my face and pressed it against her soft chest. I heard her gentle voice say, "All right, since you're sick, I'll let you off this time." She gently stroked my hair, then gave me a big, loud kiss on the lips, and smiled. "Go take your shower. I'll make dinner for you. I'll fry a 5-minute medium-rare steak for you." I nodded in a daze, still not fully recovered, even as I walked into the bathroom. My heart was racing like a little deer, thumping wildly. I don't know how to cook, but Shen Youchu's cooking is actually pretty good. She did her undergrad and master's abroad, got tired of Western food, and her family prefers a low-profile lifestyle, so they didn't hire a chef or driver for her. Those years abroad, she took care of herself, and often cooked her own meals. Of course, there was one more thing. I've been spoiled since I was little, and I'm super picky about food, but I can't cook anything at all. Shen Youchu wants to spend her whole life with me, as husband and wife. We can't rely on servants for everything forever, so she learned to cook herself. Maybe it'll make me fall even more in love with her. When I came out of the shower in my pajamas, I saw that Shen Youchu had already finished cooking the steak. It was perfectly medium rare, crispy on the outside, juicy on the inside, so smooth and tender. She even added my favorite cheese to the sauce. It smelled amazing. Just smelling it made my stomach growl. Shen Youchu also made mushroom cream soup, fresh fruit salad, and a cheese tart. Everything was my favorite, even though I lost my memory. Just looking at all this food, I knew I loved it. I ate so happily. Even though Shen Youchu can be a little dominant sometimes, she's really gentle with me. And she can cook. Her cooking is seriously so good. The more I look at her, the more I like her. Right then, Shen Youchu, who was serving me soup, suddenly looked up, and our eyes met, while I was secretly staring at her. She raised an eyebrow. Why is your face so red? Wife, your cooking is so delicious. Shen Youchu smiled. She looked really happy. You like it? I nodded hard. I love it so much, wife. I remembered that she had cooked for me once before. Back then, I knew how she felt. So, I rejected her. I even said loudly that her food tasted bad, and that I didn't like it. Shen Youchu slowly took out her phone, started recording and said, "Bai Muhon, say it again, does my cooking taste good?" I was a little stunned, then looked at her phone and said, "It's delicious. Wife's cooking is super good." But wife, why are you recording a video? Shen Youchu saved the video, her eyes full of soft laughter. No reason. I just wanted to keep a memory of the first time you praised my cooking. I was shocked inside. First time? That can't be right. Her food is so good. It suits my tastes perfectly. I think it's amazing. Even better than restaurant chefs. I started to understand why we used to fight so much as a couple. The problem was probably me. My wife is so good and capable, but I never praised her, or gave her any love or emotional support. No wonder we fought. I immediately walked over and hugged her neck, then gave her a big kiss on the cheek. Wife, your cooking is really delicious. I love it so much. You're amazing, wife. Shen Youchu had been holding back all night, and finally calmed her desire in the shower. Now I was teasing her again. If she could hold back after that, she wouldn't be human. She suddenly scooped me up in her arms and carried me straight back to the bedroom. I got startled and squirmed a little. "Ah, wife, be gentle." Shen Youchu tossed me onto the bed. Her voice was so hoarse it was deadly. "You started the fire, so you have to put it out." "I didn't start anything." I cried pitifully. "Wife, can you please stop?" Shen Youchu stared at me with burning eyes. "Aren't you enjoying it too?" She knew this was my first time. Even though I had been with Liu Ruyan, Liu Ruyan never actually liked me. They probably hadn't even kissed, let alone gone all the way. I had lost my memory. And although Shen Youchu wanted to take advantage and keep me by her side forever, she was also afraid of going too far. She worried I'd hate her when I regained my memory, so she didn't take my first time. But she also couldn't resist teasing me a little. 2 hours later, I fell asleep with red, teary eyes. Meanwhile, Shen Youchu looked refreshed as she held me in her arms, gently massaging my sore arms. I was so tired after more than an hour that I fell asleep instantly. I didn't even wake up when Shen Youchu changed me into pajamas in the middle of the night. I was fast asleep, but Shen Youchu couldn't sleep at all. Tomorrow I was going back to university. She could block all of Liu Ruyan's contacts, but she couldn't stop Liu Ruyan from finding me at school. In the dim night light, Shen Youchu held me tighter in her arms. A dark, possessive glint flashed in her deep eyes. The next morning when I woke up, Shen Youchu had already made breakfast, and even ironed the shirt I was going to wear today. Shen Youchu usually lived in the old mansion, the villa, right next to the Bai family home. But after I lost my memory, she brought me to the wedding house she had prepared. Neither of us went back to the old mansion. We stayed in this new home. There were no housekeepers or maids here. She hadn't even hired any temporary help. She did everything herself. So I only knew that Shen Youchu was good to me. But I had no idea about her family background. I thought she was just a talented young professional with a good job and decent income. I never imagined she came from a super wealthy family, let alone one of the top elite families in Beijing. The shirt Shen Youchu prepared for me was a light blue short sleeve one that matched perfectly with the sapphire necklace she gave me. I didn't pay any attention to that at all. After I woke up, ate breakfast, and changed into the shirt, I followed Shen Youchu out the door. On the way, I yawned several times. Shen Youchu wrapped her arm around my shoulders, looking at me with heartache. Sleepy. Sorry, I went a bit too far last night. I'll try to hold back more in the future. Saying, try to hold back, meant she was definitely going to do it again. Just thinking about last night made my face burn red. I glared at her. Don't talk about it. We're outside. This woman, dressed in a suit and wearing glasses, looked so elegant and serious on the outside. Who would have guessed she was like that in private? My face stayed red the whole way until we got in the car. Shen Youchu knew she was in the wrong and didn't say anything else to tease me. When we arrived at the university gate, she still looked a little nervous, but she didn't show it. She looked at me. Classes end at 11:30, right? Should I come at 11 and wait for you? No need to come so early. 11:30 is fine. Shen Yu insisted. I'll come at 11. You have to remember I'm waiting here for you. If I don't see you, I'm not leaving. I sighed helplessly. Okay, I know. I'll come out early. Shen Youchu nodded, then stayed silent for 2 seconds before saying that female classmate you saw at Hongshuan Tower the other day. Do you still remember her? I thought about the girl in the private room at Hongshuan Tower, the one wearing designer sportswear, tall and pretty, but really mean to me. I heard the other classmates call her Liu Ruyan, so I nodded. I remember. I guessed that I probably knew Liu Ruyan, but our relationship wasn't good. Shen Youchu's hand tightened on the steering wheel until her knuckles turned white. After a few seconds of silence, she said, "Stay away from her. Don't believe anything she says. She's not a good person." I suddenly understood. She's not a good person. No wonder. She was so mean that day at Hongshuan Tower. So rude. Shen Youchu couldn't help it. The corners of her lips curved up. All her nervousness and worry melted away with my words. I asked again, if she's not a good person, what did she do? Shen Youchu was 5 years older than me. Logically, she shouldn't know the role. University students, I guess, that she must have found out through some classmates she knew. So when she said Liu Ruyan wasn't a good person, it meant Liu Ruyan had definitely done something everyone knew was bad. Shen Youchu nodded thoughtfully. Indeed, she did some bad things. It's a long story. In short, there's this rich boy who fell for this poor girl. She spent his money, wore clothes he bought, lived in the apartment he provided, but secretly chased after other male classmates. She even used the boy's card to buy expensive gifts for other guys. Shen Youchu stared at me. Do you think what she did was bad? My eyes widened. Bad? Of course it's bad. She's way too awful. Who would be stupid enough to like someone like her? Shen Youchu coughed lightly, reached out, and ruffled my hair, then said, that boy knew she liked other guys, but he was still willing to. I clenched my fists angrily. Is that boy an idiot? If he has so much money, he can't spend it all. Why not donate it to a charity? Why waste it on a gold-digging girl like her? Shen Youchu looked at me in surprise, her gaze as if she was looking at a stranger. She hesitated, then reached out to touch my wound. The second you opened your mouth, you said this. Did that car accident really knock all the water out of your brain? Why do I feel like you've gotten smarter after losing your memory? I swatted her hand away, still fuming. That Liu Ruyan is such a gold-digging girl. She's seriously disgusting. That boy is so stupid. Shen Youchu couldn't help but smile again. She really didn't expect that one day she would hear me say Liu Ruyan was disgusting. Too bad she was afraid that I'd get mad when I regained my memory, so she didn't dare record it. After smiling, she nodded seriously. Yes, she's extremely disgusting. But that stupid boy is you. I froze, my mouth hanging open. If it were me, I would definitely. What? I was stunned, thinking I must have heard wrong. Even after I arrived at the dance studio and changed into my dance clothes, I still hadn't processed it. Shen Youchu had just said that I was that stupid boy who liked Liu Ruyan, and that I had even broken my wife's heart because of it. My wife and I had a cold war, and we almost got divorced. First, I couldn't believe I was that stupid. Second, I couldn't believe I was married, and had even planned to cheat while married. I was listless the whole time during class. The teacher knew I had been in a car accident and was injured, so she didn't push me too hard. But Yito Cheng, who was in the same dance studio, walked over after class. He stood in front of me. "Bai Mushin, how have you been these past few days?" I looked up at Yito Cheng. Yito Cheng and I took classes together. We were in the same major. I nodded politely. "I'm fine. Thanks for asking." I suddenly spoke so nicely that Yito Cheng paused for a second. But soon, he frowned again. "Since you're doing so well, then why haven't you contacted Ruyan these past few days? She couldn't reach you, and got so mad she smashed her phone." Yito Cheng was deliberately trying to provoke me. "See? The new phone I just gave her. Liu Ruyan doesn't even care about it. She smashed it just like that." But the expected heartbreak and sadness didn't appear on my face. Instead, my expression darkened. My handsome little face turned serious, and I glared at Yito Cheng angrily. "Are you here to speak up for Liu Ruyan?" Yito Cheng paused again. He looked at me. "Why are you being so mean? I'm doing this for your own good. Ruyan is mad at you. And I even said a lot of good things about you. Why can't you appreciate my kindness?" I sneered. "That gold-digging girl Liu Ruyan still has the nerve to be mad. I hate that I lost my memory, and can't remember how much money I spent on her. Otherwise, I'd definitely make an XOO and slap it in her face to make her pay me back." I pushed Yito Cheng away with a cold face. "Thanks, but you don't need to speak for me anymore. Her being mad has nothing to do with me. I don't like her anymore." Yito Cheng was completely shocked. "What did you say?" Yito Cheng couldn't believe it. "You don't like her anymore? Then, what they said about you finding a new girl, is it true? Is she prettier than Liu Ruyan? And richer than Liu Ruyan, too?" My impression of Liu Ruyan right now was extremely bad, even though I hadn't seen her at school yet, just from what Shen Youchu told me. And the few things Yito Cheng said, I already found her extremely repulsive. How could someone have such thick skin? I even suspected that before I lost my memory, someone must have put a spell on me. During the public class, I went to a corner of the classroom and sat alone. With my neat short hair and glasses, I was seriously reading a book, trying to recover some memories from the pages. And sure enough, some of the knowledge I had studied before felt very familiar the moment I looked at it. I was pleasantly surprised and started reading seriously. I was already handsome to begin with it, and sitting there quietly, no longer following Liu Ruyan around. Like a simp, I was actually quite attractive. I had barely been seated for 5 minutes when a tall, sweet-looking girl sat down next to me and greeted me enthusiastically. "Bai Muchen, good morning." I was reading seriously. When I looked up at the girl next to me, I nodded politely. "Hello." I actually responded to her. Chen Wan was a little surprised. I never used to respond when she talked to me before. Chen Wan was pleasantly surprised. She whispered, "Bai Mushin, I heard that Liu Ruyan and Yito Cheng are together now. They've officially confirmed their relationship. So, does that mean you're not chasing Liu Ruyan anymore?" Ugh, Liu Ruyan again. Just hearing that name annoyed me now. I said coldly, "Don't mention her name in front of me. I'm really annoyed with her right now." Chen Wan actually didn't like Liu Ruyan either. She thought Liu Ruyan was fake and had no taste, ignoring a handsome guy like Bai Muchen and going after someone like Yito Cheng. Not that Yito Cheng was bad. She just thought he was too nice, got along with everyone, and was friends with everyone. Chen Wan sat next to me and immediately said, "Then, Bai Mushin, can I chase you? Is that okay?" I turned my head sharply to look at her. Meeting my gaze, Chen Wan got a little embarrassed. She quickly corrected herself. Well, since you're not chasing Liu Ruyan anymore, can I chase you? I'm easier to chase than her." I felt a bit hopeless. Just how bad was my reputation before? Shen Yuan kept going. Everyone says you used to chase Liu Ruyan and acted like her servant because you wanted her money. Actually, I'm not poor either. I can give you pocket money too. Will you consider chasing me? I couldn't take it anymore. I glared at Chen Yuan. Get lost. I don't need money. And I already have a wife. Stay away from me, or I won't be polite anymore. Chen Yuan was stunned. What do you say? You have a wife? Her expression was shocked and a little hurt. You have a wife? Since when? Chen Yuan's voice was loud, so within half an hour, everyone around who knew us knew that I already had a wife. Most people knew me because I had been such a legendary simp, following Liu Ruyan around for over a year, writing love letters, bringing breakfast, making desserts, giving all kinds of gifts. Everyone knew I was Liu Ruyan's simp because I wanted her money, but no one knew that Liu Ruyan was the one who was actually poor, while Liu Ruyan was playing basketball on the court. Someone came up to her and said, "Ruyan, I heard Bai Mushin got married. Congratulations. You're finally free from that clingy pest." Yeah, before he was bothering you so much that you didn't even feel like playing basketball. Now, it's good. You can finally breathe easy. Liu Ruyan dropped the basketball in her hands. She stared at the person talking to her, her eyes turning red. What did you just say? Bai Mushin got married. As she spoke, she suddenly grabbed the classmate's collar and roared, "Don't you dare spread rumors. How could Bai Mushin possibly get married?" The female classmate looked confused, not understanding where Liu Ruyan's anger was coming from. "Of course it's true. Bai Mushin said it himself. Weren't you already with Yito Cheng? Fu then went to ask him if he wanted to chase someone else. And he said he already has a wife. He also said not to mention your name in front of him. He's really annoyed with you." Liu Ruyan gritted her teeth. Her face twisted in a terrifying expression. She shoved hard, pushing the classmate in front of her away, and strode out of the court still in her basketball uniform. "I haven't contacted him for the past few days. He got so mad he smashed his phone, and still hasn't bought a new one. He thought that when I couldn't reach him, and found out his phone was broken, he'd panic and buy a new phone to come find me and apologize. But before he could wait for me to show up, he got news that I got married." "Huh, there's no way he got married," Liu Ruyan muttered to herself as she walked. "He loves me to death. He'd do anything for me. How could he go find another woman and say he doesn't like me anymore? This kind of talk must be someone deliberately making it up to trick him. I'm going to find him right now. I believe that the moment he sees me, he'll be captivated by me again, just like countless times before." Yito Cheng had been standing nearby the whole time, holding water and a towel. Watching Liu Ruyan lose control like this made him feel a little uncomfortable. Liu Ruyan didn't even wait for him, which made him feel like he had lost face. The male classmates around them even said, "Hey, what's going on with Ruyan? Why didn't she come find you first? Yeah, isn't she Yito's girlfriend?" Yito Cheng felt a sense of crisis in his heart, but he still kept a gentle smile on his face. Maybe he's just too tired. And because of Bai Mushin, he's been in a bad mood these past few days. The classmates around them weren't happy. This Bai Mushin is the one who got into a car accident and got injured. Why is he blaming everything on Liu Shueji? It's not like Liu Shueji forced him to buy cold medicine in the rain. Exactly. Liu Shueji is so unlucky to have someone like that around. "Yito, you can't keep being so soft anymore. You're his official boyfriend now. You need to control him. No matter how rich he is, he shouldn't be spending money on that kind of girl." Yito Cheng listened to everyone's words, his smile carrying a hint of bitterness. This is between Ruyan and Bai Mushin. They've known each other since high school. Even if there's no romance, there's still friendship. When my friends get angry, it's hard for you to speak up. I'll go talk to him for you. You're just too soft-hearted. Liu Ruyan is too sentimental. Someone like Bai Mushin, that simp, is clearly only after Liu Ruyan's money. I absolutely won't let him keep shamelessly bothering her. Liu Ruyan felt that things were really getting out of hand. She didn't even know the classmates around her. Yet, these classmates kept coming up to her and chattering on and on about nothing but Liu Ruyan's business. I couldn't stand it anymore. If Shen Youchu hadn't reminded me, I would have started to suspect that Liu Ruyan was some big shot, a living Lei Fang. I had finally gotten rid of that arrogant rich guy. And now, 2 more male classmates came over. One of them looked at me with a very unpleasant expression. Bai Muhon, you got into a car accident and got injured yourself, but you're blaming everything on Liu Shuiji. Isn't that a bit too much? The other one also spoke up. Yehi, Liu Shuiji has been in a really bad mood these past 2 days. She even smashed her phone. Shouldn't you buy her a new one to make it up to her? I finally understood why Shen Youchu was so worried about me. There were so many weirdos here. Even though I was angry, I wasn't very good at arguing. I calmly said, why should I buy her a phone? I don't even know her that well. Those 2 male classmates got aggressive. But she only smashed her phone because of you. You caused it, so you have to take responsibility, okay? I kept a straight face. Did I hold a knife to her neck and force her to smash it? Or did I deliberately grab her hand and throw the phone away? Those 2 male classmates looked at me with disgust. You actually dare to say that? Do you think you can still sit here peacefully? You're just a simp. We're kindly reminding you how to please Liu Shuiji. Don't mistake our good intentions for bad ones. The male classmates fell silent for a moment. Then I picked up my phone and turned the screen toward the 2 of them. It clearly showed that I was recording. The 2 male classmates froze, their eyes widening. You're actually recording? How shameless. I saved the recording. Then I looked at the 2 male classmates and said, are you sure you want me to buy her a phone? A phone costs 10,000 yuan. Once she accepts the phone, if I take this recording to the police station, you'll be suspected of extortion, you know. I held up my phone again. Wait a second. Let me check how many years of prison you get for extorting 10,000 yuan. Wait for me. Let me see if 10,000 yuan is enough for 3 years. If not, I'll buy her an even more expensive one. Don't worry, I'll make sure you get sentenced. They looked at each other, and both saw shock in each other's eyes. I seemed like a completely different person. Seeing me seriously checking the law, they were really scared. They took 2 steps back. Impatiently they said, if you don't want to pay, then fine. Do you have to go as far as accusing us of extortion? Can you just slap that label on us? Exactly, we didn't extort you. We were just standing up for Liu Shuijian. Whether you buy it or not has nothing to do with us. The 2 of them quickly turned around and walked away fast. I looked up, watching them hurry off, completely speechless. So you do know it has nothing to do with you. Right then, a message came from the account, saved as wife. Class over yet? What do you want to eat for lunch? I thought for a moment. I don't know. Is there anything good near the school? Wife, there's a stew place that's pretty good. You said their free-range chicken soup was delicious. My eyes lit up. Really? Then, let's go drink soup later. After class, I couldn't wait to pack up my things and ran out of the classroom. My face was full of anticipation and a little shy excitement. I ran lightly across the field, heading straight toward the west gate of the university. A group of girls playing on the field couldn't help but follow my figure with their eyes. Someone sighed. Who is that? Is he from our school? Damn, how come I don't remember our school having such a handsome guy? One girl was stunned. She walked over to Liu Ruyan and pointed at my running figure. With her mouth hanging open, she said, Ruyan, is that the little simp who's always following you around? I used to always follow behind Liu Ruyan, always with my head down, completely different from the handsome boy now, running toward the sunlight and the wind. Not only had my clothing style changed, even his entire aura was completely different from before. The girls were all stunned. What? Is that Bai Muheng, the one who used to follow Liu Ruyan around every day? That simp. The group of female classmates on the basketball court all looked at Liu Ruyan with envy, jealousy, and hatred. You're so lucky, girl. Liu Ruyan didn't say anything. Her gaze stayed fixed on my figure. She only found out later that I had gotten into a car accident while going out to buy medicine. She had wanted to call and ask how I was, but my phone was completely unreachable. She had even been blocked on WeChat. She had finally seen me once at Hongshun Tower, but in the end, I actually told her to get out in front of Shen Youchu. Liu Ruyan felt extremely stifled inside. She threw the basketball in her hands aside and sneered. His temper has been pretty big these past few days. He even blocked me on his phone. Anyway, I'm not going to bother with him anymore. Even if he buys me stewed soup every day, I won't forgive him. Right then, someone said, "Hey you, Liu Ruyan, if you don't like betrayal, then why don't you just reject him directly?" Liu Ruyan's face turned cold. She turned her head and stared at the person. "How do you know I didn't reject him? Did I beg him to be my simp? In fact, not only did he not reject me, he even agreed to date me. But his official boyfriend is Yito Cheng." Thinking about this, Liu Ruyan's heart sank. She wondered if the reason I hadn't been paying attention to her these past few days was because I found out about her and Yito Cheng. The female classmate wasn't angry even after being stared at. Instead, she smiled and said, "Then, since you've rejected him, I can go after him now, right?" Liu Ruyan's face turned cold again. After a few seconds, she sneered, "Too bad. Bai Muchen only likes rich girls. Besides me, he already has a new target." After saying that, Liu Ruyan didn't wait for anyone's reaction. She turned around and strode away. She chased after me in the direction I had left. She kept running until she reached the west gate. Liu Ruyan quickly arrived at the commercial street outside the big west gate. When she saw me heading toward that stewed soup place, just as expected, the heart she had been holding up finally relaxed. I loved drinking the chicken soup from that shop. I used to often pack a portion for Liu Ruyan too, because Liu Ruyan loved it as well. I liked buying these expensive nutritious things for her, not because Liu Ruyan came from a poor family. Although she was now an adult and exercised regularly, and her body had developed to be quite strong, I was still worried. I always arranged all kinds of therapeutic meals for her. Liu Ruyan quickly ran over and blocked my path. I had already seen Shen Youchu's car, but then I was suddenly stopped for no reason. My footsteps paused. I looked at the girl blocking my way. After staring at her face for a few seconds, I suddenly recognized her. "It's you, the girl who was mean to me that day at Hongshuan Tower, the one named Liu Ruyan." Liu Ruyan lowered her head, staring intently at my face. She couldn't even remember how long it had been since she had looked at me so seriously. I stared at Liu Ruyan warily and took a small step back. I said warily, "You're not here to make me pay for your phone too, are you?" Liu Ruyan froze for a moment. Then she suddenly reacted. Her brows furrowed. She said with disgust, "Do you think buying me a phone will make me forgive you? You blocked me on WeChat. You won't answer my calls. And you're even getting cozy with that Shen Youchu I hate the most. I'm really angry right now, you know that." For the first time, I doubted my own intelligence. Good thing I turned back in time and found a good wife like Shen Youchu. Otherwise, I would have really starved to death. I looked at her speechlessly. "If you're angry, then be angry. What does that have to do with me?" I was completely confused. When I was chasing you before, weren't you super impatient and didn't like it at all? Now I'm not bothering you anymore. So why do you keep running up to me? Liu Ruyan's expression paused. She looked at me, brows furrowed. I wasn't impatient, and I never said I didn't like it. I looked at her with doubtful eyes and didn't say anything. Liu Ruyan took out a card from her pocket and handed it to me. With an unchanged expression, she said, "What's going on with this card? Why did it suddenly stop working? Did something big happen at your house?" I took the bank card. My expression shocked. "I even gave you my bank card." Liu Ruyan, are you serious? Liu Ruyan kept a straight face. "Bai Muchen Xia. Is this fun? Why are you pretending to be dumb?" I frowned and held the card in my hand, planning to give it to Shen Youchu to deal with later. I walked around Liu Ruyan and headed toward the stewed soup place. "I can't explain it to you clearly. Let's not meet again from now on. I'm afraid Shen Youchu has been waiting too long." So I walked a little faster. Liu Ruyan chased after me and grabbed my wrist tightly. She said coldly, "Bai Muchen, even if you go buy chicken soup to coax me today, I still won't forgive you. Do you understand? You've been way too willful these past 2 days, not listening at all, and even deliberately using Shen Youchu to piss me off. I'm really angry right now. You know that every time I get angry, you used to get super nervous. Why are you still acting like it's nothing today?" I tried to pull my hand free, but Liu Ruyan was tall and had a strong grip. I couldn't break free at all. My face turned red. "Liu Ruyan, let go of me," she said coldly. "No, you have to give me an explanation." Right then, a cold, deep voice suddenly came from behind her. He doesn't like it. Let go. Didn't you hear him? Liu Ruyan heard that familiar voice, and her face instantly darkened. She turned her head to look. Sure enough, she saw Shen Youchu, dressed in a suit and leather shoes, wearing silver-rimmed glasses. Shen Yuchu's car was parked right at the entrance of the stewed soup place. She had been waiting there since 11 o'clock. In fact, when I was stopped by Liu Ruyan, she could have come over right away, but she thought about my feelings for Liu Ruyan and held herself back again. She had said she didn't want to become a clown in this relationship again. However, after I lost my memory, I had really become a different person. I was annoyed by Liu Ruyan and didn't even want to say one more word to her. Shen Yuchu's heart was racing like crazy. She knew that every little moment these past few days wasn't just her imagination,